Whoops. All right, court case time. The part I'm actually good at. March 22nd. Adrian did it? That's what it looks like. Jesus, that's too loud. Dude, no way. That woman couldn't do anything like that. In court today, there will be a mountain of evidence that will implicate you. A mountain of evidence? I'm certain there's someone out there who's trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you. Please, Mr. Lawyer. Dude, like I said yesterday, I'm like a refreshing spring breeze, all right? I can't let any sort of scandal ruin that. I understand. Well, it's almost time. Oh, I assume that was on at fucking Edgeworth. Mia, we must get a complete acquittal today. I know, but I can't focus on my situation right now. Or Pearl's either. No matter what, I have to focus on winning this case by the end of the day. Indeed. Well, let's get going. So why'd you kill her if you're just gonna keep bringing her back? It's him. This is Wright. Good morning. This is it, Mr. Attorney. The day of the trial. Maya, she's unharmed, right? Well, when I checked on her earlier this morning, she seemed a bit, how should we say it, tired. Don't worry, people don't die that easily. Besides, what you should really be concentrating on is winning today's trial. Grr. For my sake as well as yours, you must win today's trial. Which is why I sent you a little present this morning. Present? What in the world would you want to give me? You'll figure it out once the trial starts, and even if you don't like my gift, I expect you to graciously accept it and win the day's contest, if you please. The kidnapper sent me a present. Mr. Lawyer, dude? Who is that? No one. It has nothing to do with you, so forget you heard anything. Dude, did your nose just get longer? I might be fucking retarded, but I'm not that retarded. I need to work on my Bradley. I remember wanting him to be Bradley, and I can't do it off cuff. The Fear of King Bradley. No, that's not right. He has such like a rich tone. It's Alphonse. Alf. I'm getting like less rich. Alphonse. Ooh, Alphonse. Two young, promising alchemists. I don't know. It's so hard to do. He has a weird tone, and he speaks in like a weird accent that I can't place. Like he has an accent. I just have no idea what it is, so I don't even know what to like reference to it. Two young, promising alchemists. I don't know. It's hard. Oh God, I forgot. Court is now in session for the trial of Matt on guard. Are the prosecution and defense ready? Are you the only two fucking civil servants that work here? Jesus Christ, I hate you. The defense is ready, Your Honor. I say, Mr. Wright, what happened to Miss Von Karma? I don't know, Your Honor. I assassinated Von Karma. That's my present to you. Why are you getting mad at me? Your Honor, please be quiet, bailiff. Court is in session. Shut the fuck up, bailiff. Like, if you must tell me something, keep it brief. Now, what is it? Prosecutor Von Karma has this morning. Oh my God, that is what happened. This morning, Miss Von Karma was shot by an unknown gunman. What? Shot? My babe. Somehow. I think this was the present that man was talking about. His present? Miss Von Karma is one of the... That just means Edgeworth is going to get the trial. Miss Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors in the country. She's going to show up, like, bleeding. And she's going to be like, you fool. You thought this was enough, Mr. Wright. If she were to disappear, it would be to your advantage. This is totally insane. Miss Von Karma, is she all right? I don't have that answer. She's alive and in stable condition. That's good. Whew. I imagine that's Edgeworth. I thought he'd show up. Yep. Your Honor, due to the circumstances, Miss Franziska Von Karma cannot appear in court today. I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking her place. The prosecution is ready, naturally. I don't think you can do that. I guess the prosecutors are hired by the court, so you don't like need to get permission. Okay, she's fine. Miss Von Karma was shot in her right shoulder and is currently undergoing surgery. Luckily, I'm familiar with the case. I have looked this case over and I'm familiar with the details. The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Matt on guard. The court acknowledges the prosecution. Right. I finally found the answer I was struggling for on my journey this past year. By the time this case comes to an end, you too will know the answer. Is it to make sure guilty people go to jail or something? Like, is he a good boy? Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Please bring Detective Gumshoe to the witness stand. I don't know why I'm giving him like a Sasuke-esque voice in my brain. I'm not pulling it off, but like in my brain, he's a Sasuke character. I don't know why. Witness your name and occupation. My name's Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm a detective down at the precinct for now. For now? After this trial's over, I'm supposed to turn in my badge, sir. Detective Gumshoe. The prosecution has no need for a depressed witness. Lift your head up and face forward like a proud officer, Detective Dick Gumshoe. Yes, sir. Now, let's have your testimony. If we want to explore the various facets of this case, we must start with that. Get ready, Phoenix. This is going to be one very rough fight. I'm sad that Edgeworth just took we spent the whole time on Von Karma, and then we're just like fucking... This is like the classic sequel issue, like Palpatine returned. It's the answer he was struggling for. Interesting. Show me the answer you finally found, Edgeworth. The bare facts of the case. This murder happened after the Hero of Heroes award ceremony, sir. There's still so much in this case we don't know, like who called the press conference, blah, blah, blah. Where's the button? This has to be like part 1 of 4. The victim, Juan Corota, was found dead in his hotel room. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. And at first, we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. Where is the guitar? We later found out that the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. After the award ceremony ended, the victim was alone in his room? Yes, sir. Both the victim and the defendant were alone in their room, sir. I see. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Bare facts of the case. This murder happened after the Yep. I guess we'll just press everything. Back to old reliable. Would you please give us a brief timeline of what happened after the ceremony? Okay, pal. The ceremony started at 6. It ended around 8, and then there was a short break. A very special post-ceremony show was supposed to be started in the lobby 30 minutes later. And that's when the victim's body was found, correct? Which is to say the murder occurred during that 30-minute break period. It's like a Trunksy voice. I don't know how to explain it. Please, with your testimony, detective. The victim, Juan Corota, was found dead. The person who discovered the victim's body was Adrian Andrews, correct? Yeah. Who is this Adrian Andrews you're talking about? She's the defendant, Matt on guard's manager. She's a real pretty lady, sir. Ah, so she's a pretty lady. I wonder if she'll grace us with her presence. When the post-ceremony show was about to start, she went to go get Mr. On guard. After visiting his room, she went next to the victim's room to get him for the show, sir. I see, and that's when she found the victim's body. After looking into the cause of death, I definitely believe he was murdered, sir. The cause of death, wasn't that because Mr. Corota was stabbed in the chest? Only a careless amateur would believe something so brainless as that, pal. Yeah, I agree. That knife's barely in there. Take a good hard look at the crime photo. It's the vase over his head. Now, the bandana. Was he choked? It wasn't. I made the joke about it being autoerotic asphyxiation. I was not noticing the bandana at the time. A real pro's attention. I thought it was just part of the outfit. A real pro's attention would have been drawn here to this bandana. Bandana. His bandana, sir. That thing's wrapped tightly around his neck. Ah, yes, I see. His banana-scented bandana. Then what about the knife? It seems they've been stuck on the victim's chest on purpose after his death. It's almost like they were trying to pin the murder on Matt. Ah, my voice. We have a crafty murderer on our hands here. Autopsy report. I'm just gonna keep pressing. And why did you think the guitar case was suspicious? Because it was empty, pal, you dumb fuck. The Jammin' Ninja doesn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar, and we couldn't find it anywhere at the scene of the crime. Oh, then how about this theory? A fan really wanted the guitar and did the crime to get it. How's that? We thought of that, but the only fingerprints in the guitar's case was the victim's. The victims, huh? I see. Ah, well, so much for that theory then. Well, the vase fell on it and it closed. There's water, but only on top. So it could have been open at the time, and then you don't need fingerprints. However, we found out later the guitar case has nothing to do with the murder. What has you convinced it had nothing to do with the case? The guitar wasn't at the hotel that night. Well then, where was it? The bright red guitar was eventually found at the TV studio. The victim, Juan Corota, had apparently only taken the case with him, sir. So you mean he forgot to put the guitar inside the case? Yes, sir. Even when he was on stage for the ceremony, he didn't have his guitar. So that guitar case was empty even before he got to the hotel. Yeah, that's right. So it really had nothing to do with the case after all. I mean, what was in the case then? And why are there all these teddy bears? I believe that is enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana. Then, after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which brings me to my next point. Why then did the police arrest Matt on guard? Because there was reason enough to suspect him. Here it comes. Looks like Edgeworth's back in full swing. Very well, Detective Gumshoe. Please testify about this. Why arrest on guard? Matthew on guard and Juan Corroda were huge rivals with each other. They each thought the other guy was in his way, and that's motive enough in my book. As for evidence, there's the Jammin' Ninja's button. It was ripped off of the ninja costume and found on Matt and Guard's hakama. The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. The defendant brought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. So the defendant's fingerprints were found on the knife used in the stabbing. It was sort of sticky on the handle, so the fingerprints came off pretty clear, sir. Knife has been added to the court record. And there's this button. This was found in the defendant's clothes, was it? And this button is also covered in blood. Yes, sir, and we know the blood on it is the victim's. What? Jammin' Ninja's button added to the court record? All of these points... All of this points. Oh, sorry. All of this points very clearly to the... I thought it was like these, like, objections. All of this points. Like, all of these points. All of this points very clearly to... Clearly... my brain is aneurysming. 1 second, I have to clear the clot. Oh... Okay. All of this points very clearly to the detective, doesn't it? Defendant, fuck! Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honor. Ready to give in yet, Wright? I'll find the hole in your... I have missed you, Edgeworth. Your cravat. I'll find the hole in your argument somehow. You can press as hard as you like. Just hurry up with your usual pointless questions. Grr. Matt On Guard and Juan Corroda were huge rivals. I'm just gonna keep pressing everything. But in terms of popularity, Mr. On Guard won, did he not? Yeah. But you know what's ironic, pal? Juan Corroda had always been one step behind Mr. On Guard in everything. This year it seemed like he'd finally caught up, ready for the big final showdown. But Mr. Corroda lost at the Grand Prix in the end. That's too bad. He must have been pretty downhearted after losing. Thanks, Judge. They each thought the other guy was in the way. Wait just 1 second here. Mr. On Guard was beating Mr. Corroda in the popularity polls. Well, yeah, I guess, but... Which means that in the defendant's eyes, the victim was not a rival at all. Which means he had no motive to kill at all. That's so fucking stupid. You can be winning and still have a rival. Yes, I quite agree. God damn it, Judge. Well, Detective? It's not, well, I guess if you put it that way, yeah, the defendant wouldn't have a motive. Detective, I'm beginning to see why you were fired. No, not you too, sir. Mr. Edgeworth, sir. That's... I look forward to your pension negotiations. No! No, my family, sir. I have a wife and kids. Little Maria. Now, Detective, let's continue with the ceremony. No, not my poor pension, too. Detective, if you value your money, I suggest you proceed. Yes, sir. We could talk about my pension later, sir. What was I saying? Hello, anyone? There's the Jammin' Ninja's button. Do you have any proof that that button belonged to the victim? Huh? What do you mean, pal? Oh, let me put it this way. I'm asking if you have any evidence to back up your claim that this button was ripped off the Jammin' Ninja's costume. Huh? But can't you just tell by looking? It's covered in his blood, pal. And the victim's blood's on it. Anyone could have smeared that blood on there afterwards. Mr. Edgeworth, help me, sir. All right, I knew it had to be this piece of evidence. Now to reel this one in. Thread. The button was attached to the costume by thread, obviously. And that thread snapped when the button was torn off. If you match the ends of the thread with the costume with the thread on the button, it's a perfect match. What the fuck, I'd like microning it? Yeah, that's it. They're a perfect match, pal. Irk. That Edgeworth for you never misses a beat. Oh, I thought his pants were sitting on the chair, though. When was this button found? Pretty soon after the body was found. We rounded up everyone we knew, Mr. Corroda. And Mr. Corroda. Near Mr. I don't know, it doesn't matter. And then we did a search on all of them. That's where we found the button. So it was almost immediately after the murder. The police didn't have any free time to lollygag and play tricks, unlike some people. Hey, what is he trying to say about me here? Bruh, I was investigating immediately. The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. How were the fingerprints arranged on the knife? Huh? What do you mean, pal? That's true. If it's like, you know, how people, you don't stab, you know what I mean? Like, they're different stabbing motions. By examining the fingerprints, you can determine how the defendant held the knife. For example, did he hold it normally or overhand? Oh, is that what you meant? Well, we didn't actually think of that. I can't believe the bumbling of this department. Hopeless. Were you paying attention to the testimony, Mr. Wright? The defendant's fingerprints were all over the knife. There's no way to determine how the knife was held at the moment of the murder. So is the defendant the owner of this knife then? There's no way this was premeditated murder, even if you bought the knife. Sorry, pal, this isn't some kind of pocket knife. This doesn't fold, so it's not great for walking around with. Ugh, well, this is not good. If the prosecution can prove it was premeditated murder, we are done for. Phoenix, yes. There's something very interesting about what the detective just said right now. Think carefully before it's too late. Button covered in blood, and a knife with Engard's fingerprints. Be careful. If the judge were more rash, he would have already pounded his gavel in closing. We're still in a world of trouble. Well, before any battles, you must find your enemy's weakness. Let's find the weakness in his testimony no matter what. Okay. Brought the knife for the crime, which makes the... can I present the knife itself? Yeah, no, this is just a knife. I guess I'll present it. Okay, the music stopped. We're good. This was the knife from it's the Gatewater Hotel. It's the one he's eating a steak with. What? So the basis of your argument is that this was premeditated murder is simply that my client brought a knife beforehand? That's right, pal. The defendant did not buy this knife. Huh? Take a good look at the handle of this knife and you'll see what I'm talking about. Are you guys really this fucking stupid? Huh? It has a Gatewater seal set into the handle. Gatewater. I think I've heard that name somewhere before. That's the name of the hotel. The Gatewater Hotel. Uh-oh. The murder knife is actually the property of the hotel, which means this murder was not premeditated. Yes, that's very true. Big if true. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless. What? I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been determined. How so? I admit that this knife is hotel property. There's no one currently on the police force that is dumb enough not to realize this. Gumshoe. But I didn't know. Oh. The question is, where did the knife come from? Why, that's obvious. It came from Mr. Kuroda's room. Sorry, Your Honor, but that is incorrect. Yeah, it came from the other room. The victim ate a last meal before he was murdered. So this makes me think it was the butler guy, because the butler could have taken the knife. He could move around the hotel without suspicion like that. The victim ate a last meal before he was murdered. With that being the case, I would like to draw the court's attention to what is on top of the table, as we are all psychically being projected into this room. There's a knife and a fork on the table. Then, where in the world did this knife come from? If it pleases the court, I would like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Matt on guard. Why are we just fucking psychoanalyzing especially what was on top of his table? Yeah, I noticed that immediately. There's something missing, perhaps. Is it a single knife? We investigated the leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Matt Unguard's knife was missing. How do you know it's not the other lady's? I guess the fingerprints on the plate. Mr. Ungard would have gone to the victim's room with the knife he had used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife on a visit? To kill, of course. And with that, I believe the prosecution has proven this was premeditated murder. I mean, it could still be a crime of passion. He's fucking 6 inches across the hall. If he had fucked his wife or something, he could have just picked up the knife and gone across the hall. That's not premeditated. Amazing, Mr. Edgeworth. Absolutely brilliant. A brilliantly clear deduction. Seems like Edgeworth had this plan from the very beginning. This is super easy. This must be one of those traps. I just walked headlong into it. A murder weapon with fingerprints and a button from the victim's costume. There's a quite sizable amount of evidence here. I can safely say that further deliberation is a waste of your time, Your Honor. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defense were to present evidence not shown to this court. Hint, hint, Phoenix. Evidence not yet shown. He means the evidence that the court hasn't shown yet. In other words, new evidence. Fucking Mia, get the fuck out of Pearl. I need you to leave. That just pissed me off. I want to read that sentence for you one more time slowly. He means evidence that the court has not seen yet. In other words, new evidence. After he just said new evidence, I understood the first time. You just said evidence that is new. It's probably what he meant by new evidence. I want you to leave Pearl immediately, and I want you to never come back. What does the defense have to say about this, Mr. Wright? Well, Phoenix, the judge is favoring the prosecution right now. If we answer with something wrong here, that gavel of his will be ringing out the sound of our defeat. Mr. Wright, do you have something more important and necessary to present to this court? I don't feel like I do. I don't feel like I have any evidence here. I guess Edgeworth is telling me to. There's one piece of evidence that catches my attention, something this court has not yet to see. Mr. Wright, I will say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I'm giving you one chance and only one. What the judge is saying, Wright, is don't try pulling one of your usual bluffs here. If I mess this all up, it's curtains for us. You may now show that one and only piece of evidence. Now then, what's this important piece of evidence? Is it the suicide stuff or the juice? The juicy juice. Let me check. Yeah, my whole bar is flashing. I gotta make sure. It is the wine glass. This is a wine glass, is it not? Please look at the photo next to the crime scene one more time. The scene is a mess because the victim struggled against his assailant. The vase was broken. His makeup is all over the floor. These were all things pointing to these were all things that sat at one point on top of the dresser. Yeah, well, I see your point. However, this glass that is sitting on top of the dresser is still mysteriously untouched. The only thing that had not fallen over along with everything else is the wine glass. This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant further consideration. My mind is melting. Ugh. Nah. Well, what do you all have to say? Well, yes, it's a little peculiar. Yes, it is, isn't it? I thought it was. You can stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours, Mr. Edgeworth. What is it, Your Honor? Your opinion. You don't need my opinion, because there's no special meaning to that glass. What? Safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place. By the person that discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. She could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking. No, but there's a wine bottle out. So she was going to his room with the tomato juice? That does sound very plausible, Mr. Wright. Could Miss Andrews have really set the... There's no way. If I appear weak here, the trial's over. I can look for my proof later. For now, I should trust my instincts. They just might fall for it if you're thought-provoking enough. The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We'd like to see something that proves Mrs. Andrews' cup... Who set the cup down? You've turned the situation on its head again as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any proof to back up your claim? There's no way he can have any. He's just bluffing. Unlike Mr. Wright, I never say anything without having evidence to support it. What? You're not thinking hard enough today, Wright. Did you think the wine glass escaped my notice? Then, of course it's been thoroughly inspected for fingerprints. Fingerprints? There's only one set of fingerprints on this wine glass. Only one? Well, whose were they? They were not the victims nor the defendants. Rather, they were Adrian Andrews. What? Wine glass added to the court record. This is why I said the person who discovered the body had left it there. Are we done here, Wright? Grr, I can't believe I fell into another trap. Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Kuroda. But the bottle's in the room, too. But upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down on the dresser. What you just said made a lot of sense to me. I dig it. Now do you see, Wright? You can't change any part of my scenario as it explains everything too well. I've thought long and hard about this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor. And from here on out, I will show you the answer I've come to discover. Wait a second, Mr. Edgeworth. I think the prosecution has provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict. Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. The prosecution has yet another witness we would like the court to hear from. Another witness? Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness. What in the world is Mr. Edgeworth thinking? He's trying to help me, guys. I think he's like a good boy now.
Hello. It's me again.
Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. Witness, your name and occupation, please.
Rat-a-tat-tat. Gotcha.
Grr. I wonder what happened to the calm composure you had earlier.
Oh, Edgy boy, it's been, what, a year since we last met, hasn't it? You should be more happy to see me.
I saw the report with her testimony, but who knew under that helmet? It was the Wicked Witch of the witness stand.
I tell you, this time I know what I'm supposed to do. So today I'm going to tell you anything and everything. Even things that don't have to do with that terrible crime.
Miss Witness, that terrible crime is all the court needs to know.
Rat-a-tat-tat. Shush, I'm talking to my dear Edgy Wedgie right now. Don't interrupt us, Gramps.
Yes, ma'am. No, please interrupt her by all means, please. Anyway, witness your testimony, please.
It's true what they say. The youth are all hot-headed nowadays. Not that I mind at all, Edgy. Now then, where should I start?
The witness was on the security detail. The witness was on security detail at the hotel on the night of the murder. Holy fuck. Is that correct, Miss Oldbag?
It was a great job being able to see my dearest Juan. Almost too much for my little heart to handle.
You mean you were a fan of the victim?
Look, everyone is crazy over that on guard, saying he's cute in a fresh way or something. But not me. I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, I have no interest in a little child like him. I'm only interested in a real man, Juan Garoda.
But those two are the same age.
Anyway, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night.
Very well. Please tell the court what you witnessed the night of the murder.
Leave it to me, Edgy Poo.
I hate her.
Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around the hallway in front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know. Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. That's when somebody showed up. It was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. It was on guard. Matt's on guard. He was trying to sneak away out of Juan's room.
You just saw a guy in his costume, right?
See, it has to be him. He's the murderer.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. We're just gonna keep pressing everything. Miss Oldbag, what was your post on that night?
The lobby. I was supposed to help set up the stage for that trifling show, but I refused to help, I'll let you know. It was for that lead-headed samurai show. I even took out a few of the nails.
Maybe it was a good thing the show didn't go on.
Besides, the manager with the glasses seemed to be working hard without me, so I thought I'd take a break and spread my wings a little bit.
And that's when you went to hang around the victim's door. Something you were interested in, and just what was that?
It's not something that I could just go around telling everyone, you know. It's top secret between me and Juan. And Edgy Poo, of course.
Mr. Edgeworth, what is this she's interested in? I have no idea. I despise gossip, Your Honor. Gossip? You should prove. But should it prove relevant, you can always append her testimony later. Looks like we should enforce it right now. And did the witness stay in the vicinity of the victim's door the entire time? Oh, then would you tell us the number of people who went in and out of Mr. Kuroda's room?
I have no idea. I wasn't bored, so I could count things for those who didn't pay attention in class. That's why ever since I turned 20, I quit keeping track of how old I am.
Yes, well, that would explain why your age was not included in the report. In any case, the witness saw someone, correct? Who in the world was that?
I'm not allowed to say. This sort of information has to be carefully guarded from the masses, Sonny. The man that came out of Juan's room, he was...
Yes, he was?
I'm too scared. I can't say his name out loud.
Oh, what I wouldn't give to have Franziska's whip about now.
Well, I guess I could tell you since he was such a bad boy anyways. It was on guard.
Yeah, I know. You saw my client. Are you sure about that?
Yesy.
Really?
Annoying brat. When I say I saw someone, I saw them.
Why do I get a sense of deja vu? Maybe to avoid a repeat of last year, I should delve into this a little further. The person's clothes. Please tell the court more about the clothes the man was wearing.
What a troublesome man you are. Really, as if it matters.
But it does.
Now what was it? Oh yes, it was that thing.
What thing?
That gaudy thing he's always wearing, the racing jacket.
Ah, he was wearing that in the detention center too.
That thing's meant for nothing but seducing women out of their pantaloons. Men.
Right. So, Mr. Wright, was this testimony you just saw important or relevant in any ways? It was very important. Of course it was important, Your Honor. Then perhaps you'd like to point out what part of the testimony was important. Don't you see it, Edgeworth? Yeah, he does. He's fucking you're spoon-feeding this shit. Your Honor, I request what the witness said about the jacket to be appended from her testimony. I don't see quite where you're going with this, but all right. Witness, please.
Well, I don't like to badmouth anyone without reason, but if I must. He was wearing his racing jacket. Honestly, it was all for show.
Are you sure the defendant was wearing a racing jacket?
What do you think? It's not like I've seen him in anything other than that horrible thing.
I'm sure he was wearing it.
She is so sure of herself. That's to the point of self-absorption. But, one second. She's saying if you... What makes you... it's because you're not the one questioning. Can't I fucking get in on that shit? Can I present... the costume? I want to present the costume. Oh, God. Is it this? I'm gonna... I guess... Yeah, it was this. I didn't look. Mr. Oldbag.
What? Don't you say my name for a reason, you slut?
Do you know what this is?
It's the button number 2 on Chairman Ninja's costume.
Jesus, woman. Now I know she's an obsessed fan.
Give it here, give it here. If you don't give it to me, I'll punish this. Rat-a-tat-tat, bitch.
Wow, she's really a diehard fan. This button was discovered on Mr. Onguard's body during the full body search.
See? This button proves beyond a shadow of a doubt there was that rascal on guard.
It was caught up in the pleats of his nickel samurai pants.
See? And on guard is the nickel samurai.
But it may just be me, and I do have an active imagination, but just now, didn't you say that the defendant, Matt on guard, was wearing his usual racing jacket?
I'm so sorry.
Sorry that you judge people on what they wear. If I wore the trend, oh God, I have to put up with this way of the ridiculous looking outfit. You'd agree that this outfit is hideous, right? I've got a tape recorder stuck to my chest. Let me tell you, it's heavy. So heavy, I wish I switched to CDs long ago, but I'm keeping the dream alive for all the kids out there. I work hard to put a smile on my face. You understand? Now take a look in the mirror. You're closer. It's about as interesting as documentary on a girl. You should take a tip or 10 from Edgy Pool. Now you've got sound rat tat tat.
Ooh, I got the whole thing. That was very hard. I missed a couple on the first, but ever since I knew she was talking fast, I got the whole thing. Oh my God, my brain. Now just hold your tongue still for 1 second. What you saw in actuality was not Mr. On Guard, that man. Yeah, but On Guard, the nickel samurai?
When you think about it.
Okay.
They're really one and the same anyway.
Miss Oldbag, this is a very important point we're talking about.
Edgy Poo, do you think so too?
Well, it might be something worth considering. Just say it's important and agree with me for a change. God, Edgeworth, you always do this. You burst me for the judge. Witness, think carefully and try to remember as much as you can before you testify.
If you insist.
I should be the one sighing, not you. Okay, new testimony.
On guard. Yes, now I remember. The nickel samurai. That's right. It was the nickel samurai I saw. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to the post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, you know. So he must have worn the nickel samurai costume when stabbing poor Juan.
But you just said he was in a racing jacket. I knew it. I knew you'd say he was inside that costume.
What? Did you think there could have been someone else inside the costume? Don't be a bad little boy speaking of such rude things.
But the possibility does exist.
Youngins today, I told you there's no way it was anyone else.
How do you know that?
Because I said so, and that's why, and what I say is the truth.
At least she's just as delightful of a witness as she was. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the crazy old lady. I don't know why she's still in court. She's incredibly unreliable. I think Edgeworth's truth or new justice is going to be like absolute justice, where like the truth will, like the whole truth will be revealed.
On guard, yes, now I remember.
I needed to push her on that. I'm just pushing on everything. It's working so far. I'm making good progress. Would you please get on with your testimony?
Watch your language, young man. What sort of tone is that to take with an elder? My youthfulness isn't what it used to be, so you should forgive me for everything. If you keep barking at me like that, I'll start singing at the top of my lungs.
What?
A striking figure by the sea, standing all alone is he. He's the Nickel Samurai.
She's actually singing. Someone help my poor ears. Mr. Edgeworth, can you please do something about this? Witness, I'll give you a piece of gum later if you're good and just stick to the facts.
Okay. You promise, right?
Right. I'll be sending the bill for the chewing gum to your office at a later date. Remind me to send you a thank you note later too, Edgeworth, old chum. We're gonna have a lore session in a minute here where we figure out what happened to Edgeworth at the end of last game.
The Nickel Samurai, that's right. It was the Nickel Samurai that I saw. It would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He's got a...
Oh, fuck. I have to press that.
Be a little more
careful with your testimony, please. Not too long ago, you said he was wearing his racing jacket, and now he's not.
Not too long ago? Then let me ask you this. When you were itty-bitty, what was your grand dream?
Huh?
What did you want to be when you grew up, whippersnapper?
My dream, huh? Well, I wanted to be Judge Whackner, hero of the public court. So what?
See? And look where you are now.
You're not Judge Whackner, are you? Are you?
Well,
what I said earlier. Who puts any weight into things like that? The now is everything. I can't be held responsible for the past.
Natalie. Sorry, never mind. I'm not going to go into it. Since when did the court become a theatrics over testimony? Care about theatrics over testimony?
All that matters is the man inside the costume. Isn't that enough? Yes, it would have been
Judge Whackner. I got an achievement. Hold it. And why would that be?
That way no one would see his face, of course.
But there's still no advantage for him that I can see. In fact, you'd think that the costume would make him stand out all the more.
You're such an annoying child, you know that? You disagree with everything I say.
Isn't that what you're doing to me?
I got it. Maybe it was more troublesome for him to change in and out of his costume.
Was there anyone else scheduled to appear at the post-ceremony show?
Well, all the contestants on stage were supposed to go on a friendly gesture kind of thing.
All that included the jamming ninja?
Of course it included him. That's why when Hungard came out of dear Juan's room, I didn't give it a second thought.
I see.
Well, anyway.
Okay. So let me ask you this one last time. The person you saw, was it really the Nickel Samurai?
As showy as ever. Haven't I been saying that from the very beginning?
Can I throw in the towel yet? You don't need to think too hard on this one. There's a contradiction in your testimony. It's sitting in plain sight. The question is what that contradiction means for us. Sure. He didn't know about the post-ceremony show. I don't know how to prove that, though, with, what I have here. Let me look it up. Do I give his profile or do I give this? Oh, this one's actually kind of esoteric. It's that if he was wearing his costume, he wouldn't have left fingerprints. It's kind of weird. Please take a look at this.
Yeah, so it's a knife. Big deal. If you're trying to scare me with that, I'll have you know that won't work.
No, I'm not threatening you. That's the knife that was used in the murder, correct? Your Honor, do you know why this is an important piece of evidence? You don't ever have to ask. It's because the defendant's fingerprints are on it. Is that what you're driving at? That's exactly what I'm driving at. What are we driving at? And whose car are we driving? I love cranberries. If Mr. Edgeworth, if Mr. Angard was really in the Nickel Samurai costume at the time of the murder, then it would be impossible for him to have left his fingerprints on this knife. Actually, he would have wiped off all the previous fingerprints immediately. Sorry, I fucked up that sentence, but who cares? Oh, that's right. The Nickel Samurai wears gloves, doesn't he? He probably took his gloves off before he began stabbing. And why would he do something like that? To leave his prints on the murder weapon? There's no way he could have done something like that. However, there is one possibility. Then let's hear your possibility.
It's very simple. The defendant went to the victim's room while in costume as the Nickel Samurai. At that time, the defendant had no intent to the murder. He was probably just going to relax and talk with the victim about the stage show, which is why he took his gloves off.
That doesn't make sense because he brought the knife from the other room. And because you said that this was premeditated. But the murder did still take place.
It's well known that between the bad-blooded... It's well known that there was bad blood between the defendant and the victim.
Yes, I've heard this before. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say about that? So let me get this straight. Mr. Edgeworth's theory goes like this. When the defendant went to the victim's room, he had no intention... Yeah, the problem is there's a contradiction. The theory contradicts something in the earlier testimony.
What are you babbling about?
Now, for an argument that's killer, I think it's impossible for the killer to have gone to the room without... It's the knife again, right? This knife, this was used by Mr. Onguard at dinner. Yes, we did establish that, which means that if my client was in fact the killer, that he would have brought this knife with him when he went to visit Mr. Kuroda, I suppose. However, you just said it yourself. At that time, the defendant had no intent to murder.
If that were true, then why would he bring a knife? He wouldn't, would he?
Yeah, Edgeworth's completely softballing this to us the whole time, which means, Mr. Edgeworth, your theory was flawed from superstition 1. And one more thing. If the murderer was wearing a costume at the time of the murder, then there should be glove marks left on the knife? Which means the defendant's fingerprints shouldn't be there at all. What?
And that brings me to my final point. This knife was planted by the real killer to try to hide their identity and mislead us.
Order, I say. Order in the court. Was this knife really planted by the killer? Why would the murderer do such a thing? I don't know why we would want to frame Matt. But he did get butthurt when we pried into his history. I'm going to say to frame. To frame my client, Mr. Onguard, of course. To frame. Because he got weird when we showed her the thing.
Aren't you forcing the interpretation just a little too hard on this one, bro?
Sorry. But we just established that the witness saw the Nickel Samurai in costume, and if that were true, there shouldn't be a single fingerprint on this knife.
Witness.
Looks like I've made your life a tiny bit more difficult, huh, Edgy Poo? Witness, did you just say you really did you or did you not really see the Nickel Samurai? Well, I guess I might have forgotten it first. Are you saying that you mixed up Mr. Onguard with the Nickel Samurai's character on TV?
But, I mean, I can't really do anything about it now. Look, I was waiting around in front of the door as well.
Well, because I wasn't waiting for the Nickel Samurai, that's for sure. She wasn't waiting for the Nickel Samurai. All right, then who were you waiting around for? That's top secret to anyone outside of security. I have a feeling that you were waiting for Mr. Juan Kuroda. Am I correct, witness?
The way you think, you're a sad amateur for a terrible case. You are a sad amateur with a terrible case of nearsightedness.
Amateur? Me? What am I an amateur of? So Old Bag was waiting in front of the victim's door, but it doesn't sound like she wanted to capture a glimpse of Mr. Kuroda. Maybe Phoenix, maybe the Old Bag was waiting for that person. Yeah, it's the fucking... It would have to be It would have to be this chick. Who is this person? This is Adrian Andrews, Mr. Onguard's manager. But why would the defendant manager be in the victim's room? It seems this is the latest rumor in circulation, Your Honor. Oh, well, this is... I see. The judge seems to really be into the article, if it can be called such a thing. Then this manager with the initials AA, are you saying it's...
Adrian Andrews? Without a doubt, the witness thought so as well.
Looks like you found me out. Well, that's fine. I could throw away this whole sworn to confidentiality stuff then.
Witness? What in the world are you... Watch out, Phoenix. I got a bad feeling about this. A very bad feeling. I got some information, some very secret information from a certain source. And that's why I was doing my own little investigation. In secret, of course. But what for? Oh, just from myself, personal reasons and all that. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, how would you like to proceed from here?
I really don't want to do this. However, I simply cannot let this point slide.
I see. Yeah, he's softballing. Very well, witness. Please testify about this secret information. Get ready. This is going to take the wind out of you youngins. I'm sure we're all capable of handling this, really. It's not like we're 10-year-olds.
Secret information.
That Ungard is one evil, evil man. He thought he could ruin poor Juan by causing a huge scandal. So to do that, he sent his own manager to get in close with Juan. I cannot condone such dirty tricks, so I took action.
Oh, and this is top secret. You got that? Nobody else but you and me know. And know yet, correct?
No, but fucking Matt is way too dumb for this. The defendant sent his own manager. What a distasteful topic for this court. What? Nobody's above gossip. And isn't there a saying? The truth is never pleasant. Never heard that one before. Mr. Edgeworth, what about this Adrian Andrews person? We have looked into this matter and found that the truth the article proposes is in fact baseless gossip. Should this be true, then this proves that the defendant did bear ill will towards the victim. So this means I have to smash this rumor once and for all. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Be careful, the old bag seems rather excited right now.
That's right! Ungard is nothing but your average foul-blooded youth.
Well, as the old saying goes, you gotta burn old bags with fire. Time to fire up the afterburners and hit the highway to the danger zone. I almost just turned on danger zone. It's not worth it. Secret information.
That Ungard is one evil, evil man.
Pressing on everything has not led me astray so far. You can't say something like that without proof. That's just slander.
But it's true, that woman was getting intimate with poor Juan. Look, it says so right here, doesn't it? Manager to the stars, Miss AA.
But the name of the magazine this comes from is Gossipland.
What? Are you saying just that gossip is all just a pack of lies?
What do you know? I suppose next you'll tell me the news is 100% true.
Honestly, Sonny,
you can't discriminate between the news and gossip. Yes, discrimination is bad, Mr. Wright. Discrimination? When did I do anything like that? Anyway, Ungard will never get me to say touche. What?
He thought he could ruin poor Juan by causing a huge scandal.
I have to go back to that. A scandal? What do you mean by that?
You're a dim-witted one, aren't you? I can't believe you don't know what a scandal is.
Honestly, what are they teaching kids in middle school these days? No, I was asking what the words... I wasn't asking what scandal means. Even I know that much. Well, then Ungard thought he could own a monopoly on popularity. You don't have any proof Mr. Ungard did such a thing.
You must be suffering from shock, the shock of hearing the truth.
And now since you're in so much shock, you can't do anything right. You're right, I can't do anything, but boy, do I wish I could do something about you.
All right then, Sonny, show me what you've got.
Can you show me proof that Ungard didn't bear any ill will? I don't think I have any proof that he has no ill will. Let me look. I'll look. I don't think I have proof for that. No, I don't have anything.
See, just as I thought. And you were lecturing me about saying things without proof. You've just given me a free pass to say whatever I want, whenever I want, silly boy.
Me and my big mouth.
That's right. That's the way the cookie crumbles, for you at least. I cannot condone such dirty tricks, so I took action.
Wait.
What? I'm a busy woman. Tea time with the kids is over.
Secret information that no one else knows yet. If that's true, then how do you know this secret information?
Oh, well, it's because I'm a pro. Yes, that's it.
Huh?
It's a secret. Even if you drill a hole in my brain, you'll never be able to figure it out.
How in the world did that old bag get such a secret piece of information? Press further. If you don't be a good girl and tell me where you got this secret information, you won't get to go home today.
Edgy Poo, what are you doing? Help me.
What do I have to do with this? I was spaced out, sorry.
Just do this for me. You'll get your reward.
I don't want your reward, but you leave me no choice. The witness could have gotten her information from anywhere. It's even possible that it was spontaneously made up inside the witness's head. And he lectures me about reckless blabbing? As long as we don't know where this information came from, it's quite a waste of time to focus on this line of questioning. It's Lotta. Right? 1 second. It's gotta be Lotta, right? Like... Okay, 1 second. I'm getting back to the part. So no one is supposed to know this secret information, correct? If that's true, then why do you know it? Why do you know it, Miss Oldbag?
What are you blabbering about to it? Why are you looking at me like that? Stop it.
Witness. I hate to say it, but this is how you came to acquire it. Lotta. The investigative photographer Lotta Hart. Oh yes, I remember that mischievous girl with the wide birthing hips. She reported that she had lost a certain note she had written to herself. She reported such a thing? On that piece of paper, she had written down some of her impressions about the relation between the victim and Miss Andrews. Oh, what? Outrageous ideas, you say? No. I said impressions. Then everything written on this piece of paper is completely meaningless? Ah, that's it. That's the note. Ah! No, you see, this is something completely different. This is my top secret list of groceries to buy. Then you were the one who took Miss Hart's note? I'm a huge fan of Juan's, that's why. That infamous puffy-haired whippersnapper. She's working with the evil On Guard. She said so herself. On Guard, I'm his sidekick. She was so happy, smiling like a silly duck. I was only checking that what she had written. No one believes. Edgy Poo, you believe me, don't you? Sorry, spaced out again. I was only trying to help out like the angel I am. It's only one little piece of paper. I've never taken anything else before. Oh, the rush of theft. Oh, Edgeworth, what the fuck? You should really come up with a supply of cheese to match your vintage wine. What the fuck? Sick bird, Edgeworth. Well, Jesus. It was only a piece of paper. I suppose we could overlook this just once. She looks like she's really sorry. Should I forgive her? Pile on more pressure. Fuck this bitch. If I let up on her now, she'll get away. I have to find some way to inflict a deafening blow to the prosecution. Witness, you said that the only thing you stole was the note. Is this correct? What about the camera, bitch? Stole? Why did you listen more carefully, you annoying brat? I saved this piece of paper from the lonely trash. It was in the camera case. You're lying, damn it. Whoa, Phoenix. You're lying, damn it, and I can prove it. Are you putting my credibility under scrutiny again? Miss Allbag, I don't believe the note is the only thing you stole. I have to present the camera again? Miss Oldbag, that note was with a camera inside its case, wasn't it? A camera? Yesterday, Lotta Hart was raising a huge stink over her camera. She kept saying my sweetie $1,600 camera disappeared on me. Why, witness. What is it, Gramps? If you have the note, then it's only logical that you have the camera too. Grr. Looks like you found me out again, Sonny. Is this the camera you've been looking for? Yes. Ah, that's... What? Even though I look like this, I'm still a person, you know? I still eat meals like you, I fall in love, and I borrow things from people. Listen, Nana likes crime, all right? It gets her hot and feeling young again. I think the definition of borrow is a little off. I saw that woman's business card, and that's when I noticed it said Slimebag Celebrity Photography Extraordinaire. Well, when I saw that, I just knew she had to take this. I had to know what sort of pictures she had taken. I'm a professional security guard. It's my business to know these things. I feel like her voice is sliding. I don't know what I'm missing, though. Bailiff, check out this camera's photos. Hurry. We must examine them at once. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do we have here? There's only one photo. There's only one photo that seems to be relevant to this case. Please present it to the court. Jesus Christ, guys, come on. Holy shit, he is huge. I love those Fuji pants. This is the Nickel Samurai. See, I told you. That's the guy, I swear. This proves that the witness was not lying earlier about this matter. Lotta's photo was out of the crime record. What does this all mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photo by itself does not prove that the person is the defendant. However, in his own confession, Mr. Ongard clearly stated, at the time of the murder, he was still in his Nickel Samurai costume. If that is the case, then this Nickel Samurai is the defendant. Got him. How did it come to this? I think this brings us to the end. We have examined every piece of evidence thoroughly. Final comments, Mr. Wright. The court will consider them before we close. Do you agree that this person is decisive evidence against your client? If this photo really is decisive, then we're done for. But if I raise an objection and blow it, I would put Maya's life in jeopardy. Okay. That is the correct room he's coming out of, because that's the door to the auditorium, which means if you flip it, this is the left side. There's got to be something strange with it, right? I mean, she is small-chested. I guess I'll look because I think there is something wrong with it. I just can't tell. Something strange with it. There's something strange with this photo. I knew this was coming, Wright. Your thoughts, Mr. Edgeworth? I think we can all agree that there's nothing strange with this photo. There's no way for the defense to debunk this photo, even with a bunker buster. Debunk with a bunker buster? Is that what you're planning to do? Am I in danger? Vietnam! Oh God, I can see it all again! Anyways, please look at the photo one more time. If you really believe you've obviously find something wrong with this photo, then you should only need one chance, correct? Well, I have to find something wrong with this photo. I can't let this chance go by. Where in the heck did she take this photo from anyways? It's all out of focus. Why can't she take a good shot when it counts? Now then, let's hear your objections. What about this photo is strange? You know. Oh, I understand. He's supposed to, the pants are too long. I would like to direct the court's attention to this area here. What are you pointing to? His ankles? If you could see this person's ankles, that would be one thing. However, you can't. And what does that mean? The costume person in this photo could not have been Mr. On Guard. What is the meaning of this? That's fair. The pants were too long. I wonder if you'd care to elaborate with actual facts. Let's take a look at the Nickel Samurai's poster. Yeah, he has his feet sticking out. Please pay particular attention to the area around the bottom of the hakama. His socks? You could see his socks. I wish I nodded like that. In 3 distinct motions. Exactly. However, in this photo, the Nickel Samurai is clearly holding his hakama up just to walk. There's only one explanation for this. The person inside this costume is clearly much shorter than the defendant. All right, I think I've turned things around for myself. That's curious. What is it? Edgeworth is unusually calm today. That's true. He's just letting the trial run itself as if he's only along for the ride. Yeah, he's being nice to us. He's softballing it. Along for the ride? What do you mean by that? I can only guess that perhaps he doesn't feel under attack at all. He doesn't feel under attack. Then I haven't damaged his case at all. No, he doesn't have a side. He's letting justice run its course. He wants to get to the truth. Mr. Edgeworth, where does this leave us? If the person in this photo is not Matt On Guard, then everything the prosecution has tried to prove has become meaningless. I figured it would come to this. What? Right. I have something I want to ask you. I think you have proven that the person inside this costume is not Matt On Guard. In that case, who is this a photo of? Who's the person wearing the Nickel Samurai costume? He's calm because he's on your side, dumb fuck. Who's the person in this costume? I don't have the butler as an option, right? So it's got to be Adrian Andrews. Adrian Andrews? If you want to know who the Nickel Samurai is, it's none other than that woman. And why would you say it must be Miss Andrews? What in the world points to her? For starters, she's short, and she could freely move in and out of On Guard's room. Finally, she had dinner with Mr. On Guard that night. And how does that all add up? It means that it makes it very easy for her to get a certain item. A certain knife with Mr. On Guard's fingerprints all over it. The knife that was used as the murder weapon. Why don't you just say what it is you want, right? I have to do this. This is my last chance to turn things around. The defense moves to indict Miss Adrian Andrews in the murder of Juan Corota. It was Miss Andrews who tried to frame the defendant for the crime. I need to get my energy up when we do these accusations. I need to be fucking aggressive. Order, order, order! Jesus! Looks like the trial has hit a most unexpected development. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. This court is issuing a subpoena for Miss Andrea Andrews. A verdict cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony. All right, this is it. This is kind of bad for us. Huh? What do you mean? If Adrian Andrews is summoned to the court as a witness, it means the trial will go on for another day. One more day, ugh. If I don't get a verdict today, then Maya. Now then, we should set Miss Andrews' testimony for tomorrow. What am I supposed to do? Raise an... I feel like I should raise an objection. But wait and see feels like the baller move to do. It says it doesn't matter. Now then, objection. Please, Your Honor, continue the trial. We must pass a verdict today. No, I can't do that. We cannot hear Miss Andrews' testimony. She's not... Hold it! I abhor wasting such valuable time. Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request that you please continue with today's trial. But we cannot continue due to this unexpected development. Unexpected development? I think you underestimate me, Your Honor. What do you mean by that? That Mr. Phoenix Wright would slave his way to subpoenaing Mrs. Adrian Andrews is all happening according to plan, even if Mr. Wright was a bit slow to catch on. Oh, what? What is the meaning of your statement, Mr. Edgeworth? Miss Adrian Andrews is currently waiting in the prosecution's lobby. She's the next witness. Everything was planned out in advance? Somehow I knew there was no way Edgeworth would overlook Miss Andrews. Looks like this battle is far from over. Exactly. Very well, we will call the next witness. However, before we proceed, we shall have a 10-minute recess. Please prepare your witness in that time, Mr. Edgeworth. The court will now take a 10-minute recess. All right. There are 2.5 hours of Phoenix Wright for you to tide you over till tomorrow. You little fucking goblin. I might modify my Edgeworth voice. I haven't decided yet. We'll see. I'll listen back to it and see if I care. Okay, I love you. Good luck. Happy Belize.